Hello everyone, I'm Mrs. Aditi Lahiry and today I'm back with yet another story at Mayaakatha where stories dance. Right, so the name of today's story is that of the story of Raven and the Owl. It's a folk tale from Bhutan. Okay, so let's read and find out what this story talks about. Long ago, a young raven lived in a nest on the top of an old cypress tree in a village. It had beautiful, colorful feathers. A young owl lived in a nest in the hollow of the trunk of a walnut tree in the forest. It had dull gray feathers. The raven and the owl were the best of friends. See, have a look at them. These are raven and the owl. They are the best of friends. Every day at sunrise, the two friends would meet at their usual playground and spend the rest of the day together. They would play around tirelessly, doing different things like swinging from tree, playing in the rains, catching insects, and so on. When they became hungry, they would gather food and share with each other, and then they would get back to playing again. When sunset came, one would say, "It's getting dark now. Let's go home." "Okay, caw, caw." And the other would agree, "Let's meet here again tomorrow." And the two friends would fly home for the night. This went on for many days, weeks, and months. One day, the owl said to his friend, "My dear friend, you have very beautiful, colorful feathers, while I have dull, gray feathers. So, asked the raven, could you paint my feathers and make them beautiful too?" asked the owl. "Why not?" agreed the raven. "But you have to paint me beautifully too," said the raven. "Sure," agreed the owl. "Let's gather a lot of coloring materials," agreed the two friends. So they gathered different coloring materials from all over the place. See how they are at work. They are collecting all the materials that they will need to color. Right. "Now turn your back towards me. Spread your wings," said the raven. "Caw, caw." "Okay," agreed the owl happily, and the raven began to paint the owl's feather. Swish, swish. "First I paint red, now I paint a bit of yellow, a little bit of green here, a little bit of black here, a little bit of blue here. Wow, so colorful." Then Raven painted the owl's feathers tirelessly for many hours. At long last, the owl's dull grey feathers changed to beautiful spotless feathers. See how he looks now. Right. "It's all done, my friend," said the raven. "Thank you, my friend," said the owl. The owl quickly flew to the nearby pond of clear water and looked into it. "Oh, how beautiful my feathers look!" cried out the owl happily. It was gleaming with pride. The owl cheerfully looked at its image in the pond again and again for a long time. "Oh, it is so nice to have beautiful spotted feathers," said the owl to itself. Suddenly, the owl became proud and selfish. "I will not have my friend looking beautiful like me," thought the owl. See how he looks now. The owl flew back to its friend with a cruel plan. "Now sit down. Let me paint your feathers, my friend," said the owl. "Sure, my friend." "Caw, caw," said the raven happily. The raven spread its wings beautifully and sat down with its back towards the owl. Suddenly the owl poured a jar of black ink over the raven. The raven's beautiful, colorful feathers instantly turned black. Why did you do that? Shouted the raven, who was totally shocked at its friend's mean action. But the owl quickly flew away towards its nest. Come back here, called the raven angrily. But the owl did not even look back and continued to fly away. The raven flew fast after the owl, but before it could catch the owl got into its nest in the small hollow in the trunk of a walnut tree. Just come out of the hollow, you ungrateful bird, yelled the angry raven, who was too big to get into the small hole. See, the hole is so small. How do you think he can get inside? But the owl stayed quietly in its nest and did not go out. The raven waited and waited for the owl to come out. Morning, evening, night. But the owl did not come out. Finally, as the sun began to set, the forest began to grow dark, and as the owl looked on from its nest, the raven flew back to its own nest. Since that day, our friendship was over for good, says the raven, who could never change the color of its feathers again. This is why ravens are black even today. I have beautiful spotted feathers, said the owl, but I am too ashamed of what I did to my friend, so I hide in my nest during the daytime. This is why owls come out of their nests only during the night. So you see, friends, it's very important to be cautious about what we do to our friends. We should not be ungrateful to our friends, right? So this is what we can learn from today's story, and this is how we know, this is the reason why the owl comes out only in the night, because it's ashamed of what it did. It was very mean, isn't it, what he did to his best friend, right? So always be together and try to help your friends. Do not try to trouble them. Do not try to cheat them. That's a very wrong thing to do. Right? So with this, I end my story here. See you some other day. Bye bye.